Welcome to Toffee TV. It is live at 5 and we are here on YouTube, on Patreon. I just want a little double check something. Is there any sound? Because Ned doesn't always put sound on.
Doesn't always put sound on.
We're going to, listen, patrons, the link is there if you want to get in touch. The phone-in is open. If you want to get in touch, patrons, the phone-in is open. If you want to have your say about Frank Lampard, if you want to have your say about Dele Alli, if you want to have your say about Donny van der Beek, if you want to have your say about the link with Stephen Hitchen.
I thought you were going to say, I'm Billy Crellin.
Don't
forget, Billy.
You've gone deep into Billy Crellin, haven't you?
I just feel he signed him the other day.
Okay. Is this because his name's Billy and you feel some kind of like parental thing to him?
No.
Because you love Billy so much, you used to work here?
I do.
Or do you just go, Billy, you link Billy to Shrewsbury, and I know what your thoughts are on Shrewsbury.
There is that. There's all of these will make it up.
Yeah.
And obviously John Crellin's one of our patrons.
Of course.
Billy's uncle, so there's that.
I just think
but
Billy...
It's Billy because Billy was cool. He come in, he was cool.
Is it nothing to do with the association you have with Shrewsbury, McDonald's and the yoga pants there?
That as well.
Yeah.
That will be part of it as well, I'm sure. Subconsciously.
Subconsciously.
And very consciously as well. So there you go. There you go.
Fantastic place.
Yeah,
Shrewsbury, what a place.
It is.
Shrewsbury McDonald's, the home of the... I can't even say it. Can't say it. We'll get taken off it.
Dele Alli, unveiled
today. Home of Dele Alli?
Dele Alli, yeah, pardon me.
Yeah.
Unveiled today.
It's very strange. I'm still not quite coming to terms with the fact that Dele Alli plays for us when
it is mad.
When he was like a couple of years ago was like one of the
superstar.
Yeah.
It is weird, and obviously there's a reason why he's come to Everton in a deal that is structured the way it's structured.
Yeah.
But at the age of 25, you can get that back. You know, if you can get the hunger back and you've got a manager. Spoke on the Daily Live Extra today on Patreon.
Exclusively on Patreon.
With Ned. About sometimes it's a manager that just gets you going again. And was he just stale at Spurs? 7 years. He lost a manager who he knew trusted him and really believed in him. And he was replaced by a couple of other managers who played a different way to what he wanted.
Yeah.
And were a bit more negative and stuff. And maybe once he lost his confidence, wasn't doing the same things that Dele Alli had done in the past and that made him successful. And you hope that Frank Lampard, who is a attack-minded manager, will want to try to tap into that. Quite clearly, he's come to Everton for Frank Lampard first and foremost, hasn't he? Yeah. And then Everton secondly. So if Everton can get him back to close to what he was at Spurs, then they're going to have a fantastic signing on their hands, aren't they?
Yeah, I think we saw it in that documentary, didn't we? The Tottenham documentary. He got called out on his first day, basically, by Mourinho. I don't think he ever recovered.
No,
I think that was a good insight to both of their characters on that day. I think Dele Alli has suffered from thinking that he didn't have to try and improve or put the hard work into improving. And I think that's where he's been caught out. But now he's got a manager who looks like he's willing to give him a little bit of love. Understands him as a player, but the player still has to react. We can't sit here thinking, well, it's all on Mourinho.
No, it isn't.
The player has to do what the player's lost his way because of him, not because of anyone else.
Well, there's Mourinho, Nuno and Conte, who've been, he's had 3 managers since Pochettino, and he's not really discovered his form under any of them. Yeah. So it's not all on Jose Mourinho, it's on the lad as well, and the lad's got to get here and work hard and improve.
Yeah, let's get our first caller on. Let's get Dan on.
So we nearly had our first.
So we but Ned ruined it.
Ned
ruined it.
Just get.
What I liked about that was Ned was using the technology to not have to shout over while he's eating to us, not spitting his germs towards us and parts of his food. And now then he shouts over, he's not ready. No, with a mouthful of sausage because we know that's his preferred food.
Which is fine.
But,
There you go. So are we carrying on discussing points? Am I reading some comments, or if you actually got
Yannick, if you want to talk to
go on, let's talk to Yannick then.
Yeah, let's go.
We've got Yannick, which is not the same as Dan, but I can't imagine there'd be any less quality having Yannick on the line.
No, none whatsoever.
Oh, is Yannick there? Is he ready?
He should be here.
Oh, there we go. Yannick's there. He's there. He's ready. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
Go on,
Gents,
Yannick.
how goes?
Go for it, Yannick. Get your point across to us.
An American here. I'll do my best for some British terminology.
Yannick,
but it was bloody mad.
There's no one called Yannick here, mate. Come on, we know you're in America.
It was bloody mad, gents. Like, 6 months ago, you would have never guessed it. Lampard in and things, and it's not the best, but I think I'm really impressed with the fan base, because it felt like you could have never made anyone happy. And then you look when deadline day shut, and you could see the majority of people were quite all right with it. They kind of embraced a little bit of vision, and we just like the squad. Frank's got a point to prove, and that's a valuable thing when we need to look up the table and hopefully not over our shoulders. So, got some creativity in the side that can hopefully, prove its value. That's really kind of my takeaways, because it was never going to be perfect. Into every window, we want it to be perfect, and we've always got a ton to complain about, but hopefully we got less complaints than when it started. That's my take on it.
Absolutely. I mean, you're right. 5-6 months ago, you'd have said we'll have Frank Lampard and Dele Alli in the door, and Donny van der Beek. We'd have probably all, I think most people would have been delighted with that, to be honest, having just appointed Rafa Benitez. But it does seem a bit weird. But I mean, what are your thoughts on Frank Lampard, Yannick, overall? Because obviously he's had a spell at Derby, done quite well, lost in the playoff final. He had 18 months at Chelsea where he got them in the Champions League, and then the following season was doing really well. And they just had a bad spell in December, really, and that seemed to unravel quickly, and he lost his job, having been top of the league only a few weeks before. So, what's your take on him in terms of? Do you think he can get Everton going again?
I'd hope so, because we had a defensive, very reserved, pragmatic approach, and it didn't do anything for us. So there's no reason to go back to that. It clearly didn't clue in with the players. They weren't gelling with the game plan. They looked lost on the pitch. They were just frozen. It was like playing in slow motion, and we had some really terrible squads just walk all over us.
Yeah.
So watching that first training video and seeing Frank say, "Enjoy the ball," adds music to everyone's ears, because it wasn't working the other way.
No.
So it's if you need a screwdriver, stop throwing a wrench at the problem.
Absolutely.
So we've got no other, it makes perfect sense, and we were never going to get our pipe dream in terms of the manager. So I hope it doesn't pull away focus from the fact that we need shakeup in the boardroom. We need to see visible change of structure, and not, just canned responses of, "Oh, well, we work very hard, and this is important to us, and we're listening." Walk the walk. We need to, it'll show in your actions, but until I see that, I don't believe you.
Yeah, that's ongoing, isn't it? Obviously, what's going off the pitch is ongoing, but you have to win games of football. So you have to have a manager. You have to have positivity. You have to have positivity on the pitch, and you have to have positivity off the pitch. Everton need time as a club, and the only thing that creates time is wins. Wins help create time, because they help create positivity. If you go season to season and you're on an upward trajectory, then you can help create something which ultimately is what's going to help you win enough games to hopefully get yourself in a position to either qualify for Europe or win a trophy or whatever else. That's like the horrible thing about football, and it's the good thing about football. It's like it never stops, but the fact that it never stops is like you look at, obviously don't need to explain to you, but you can talk to an American about sports, obviously American sports. You can have a team in America that can build over 3 years, and there's zero pressure on it, because there's no relegation, and there's playoffs, so we might start rubbish, then they might get into the playoffs, and then who knows? I mean, look at the teams who were in the Super Bowl this year. In the NFL, they're not seen as two amazing teams, but they've built and built and built and got better over time. But in football, in this country or around the world, you just can't do that. It's really difficult to do that unless everything's in place. So you have to have characters on the pitch and off the pitch, you can guarantee at least enough wins. And obviously, the number one thing you need is very good players, and we've had really poor recruitment as well. So let's hope it's happening off the pitch. There's a lot of talk. We've been linked with Spurs' ex-director of football now. We've been linked with Tim Cahill apparently coming in to do a job. So it has to happen. You're absolutely right. It has to happen off the pitch now as well. It has to happen off the pitch. They've done the job on the pitch in terms of the manager. Now they've got to get it sorted in the boardroom as well, and then we can move forward as a club.
Yeah. No, 100% agreed. And circling back to Frank, one of the most impressive things is that backroom staff is better than anyone else close to being that was close to the Everton job would have ever had.
Yeah, 100%.
They are proven individuals, and that we got folks that have been training and improving players that are qualifying for Europe, going to Champions League, and you want to change the mindset of the players.
Yeah.
Bobby Brownshoes ain't doing that with whoever he brought in.
Kane Jones.
Well,
there's standards, isn't there? There's standards in this, talking about like Ashley Cole coming in, and he might have a role in the academy, or he might have a role that isn't sort of up and up close and up on the bench and that kind of thing. That would mean Everton will have people like Leighton Baines and Ashley Cole working in the academy. That's really important. I think that's really important.
I think Cole might be with the first team.
But what I mean is
him in the door.
What I mean is he's not the assistant manager. He's not. He's not. He's not someone front and centre.
And he is going to be mainly England under 21.
So I think that's what I mean. He's got standards,
Mm.
and that's important. And that's important to the football club. And it's like Yannick just said there, you're taking people who've been at Chelsea, who've helped them win a Champions League. You're taking those people and you're saying, come to Everton and try and replicate something you've done at Chelsea with your players, with your young players. They're bringing in standards with them. I think that's what, if anything, is what gives me optimism, is that all these people have standards and they will expect the best from the people who run the club as well. Like, you must provide me with these kind of people and these kind of players.
Yeah.
We won't accept mediocrity, because mediocrity will get us nowhere. And that's the only way we move forward as a club.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yannick, thank you for your call, my friend. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Top man.
Stay safe, gents.
Cheers, mate.
Time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Yannick. Take care.
If you want to get involved in the phone-in, you must be a patron. The link is in there for the show. The link is there. Just click the link. You can do it on anything. You can do it on a laptop. You can do it on a phone. You can do it on anything, and that will get you through to us. And you'll just come through. Your voice will come through, and we can get you on air, and you can get your points across.
And you'll be a patron for the month, and you'll get a discount in the
we
shop
actually had someone,
and in the forum.
We actually had someone last week who joined us, and he was in the bath, and he wasn't a patron, and he joined patron just so he could get his phone call.
Was it top man then?
And he got, and I think was it Steve?
Was it top man?
Yeah,
Steve,
thanks,
get him washed.
Thanks,
I think.
Are you
ready for Dan?
No, just two
minutes.
Richard Folks says, even lads, do you think Frank is going to try and score his way away from the danger zone? Because it certainly looks that way with the new signings. This is something that obviously Everton conceding a lot of goals this season. And obviously he's moved for two players at the other end of the pitch. Do you think it is a case of, well, first and foremost, let's try to up our goal output, because quite clearly we're trying to just rely on two people otherwise? I
think that's an interesting way of looking at it, saying scoring your way out of it. Surely attacking your way out of it is the way you would get out of any situation. It's how you win a game of football in a lot of ways. If you can control.
But do you think Rafa Benitez was trying to?
Yeah, but we know what he was trying to do. He was trying to play counter-attack football. I've said it for ages. You can't play counter-attack football if you can't defend. The main strategy about counter-attacking football is you have to be able to defend. You have to be able to win the ball back. You allow the opposition the ball. It's not an issue. I have no problem when you have the ball and the opposition has 60% of the ball, 65% of the ball, if they don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
If you stop them on the edge of the box and then break with pace, that's not a problem. The problem is Everton was so wide open, especially from set pieces, that we were conceding goals. We weren't winning the ball back. So therefore, that's not counter-attacking football. So you've just thrown your biggest way of scoring goals out the window.
Yeah.
If you're talking about attacking, then yeah, I go back to like the whole game, which is a game which we won. By the way, we won a game. We had no control in that game. We had the second half. We lost control of the ball. We allowed them to just start passing, and then it finally arrived at someone who obviously score the worldie. But if you allow a team to have control, and this is my biggest problem with Everton, has been for a very long time, is you can have control of the game without the ball, and you can have control of the game with the ball. We seem to have neither. We seem to have neither of those two things. So I think Frank Lampard is going to want to try and bring in a strategy that gets control of the ball, so that when you are 1-0 up in a game where maybe you should be scoring more goals, but you aren't, you keep the ball. If the opposition don't have the ball, they can't score, and they can't get momentum either. And we allow teams. How often do we allow teams? And it happened in that whole game. We should have been 4-1 up, and then we suddenly... We allowed them to get the ball and more of the ball. And the weird thing is, it's that kind of thing that you can see coming if you're a fan. Yeah. But I don't always think you can see it if you're on the bench or you're playing.
Negative football. So, a couple of comments before we go next call. Andy Budd says, "All right, lads, after the R. Kelly shenanigans on Monday, just thought you should check out the Mad TV parody, Trapped in the Cupboard. It's hilarious." Okay, give that one a look. Dick L. And you know what Dick's like? He does let Liverpool fans get to him. Says, all day, the Reds have been banging on about how Everton have spent another 70 million in the transfer window and haven't got a decent player to show for it. I've tried explaining how Dele Alli is essentially a free transfer for now, but they read on Sky Sports he cost 40 million.
Your mates are definitely... Yeah. Your mates in work, if you want to call them mates, they're definitely anti-vaxxers, aren't they? They definitely...
Well, listen, they're stupid. Because they've literally gone for... Everybody, every man and his dog has told them, the world. Yeah. Well, to be fair, though, they're probably just those people, they've seen a headline and they've just gone with it. Because Sky have done this. Sky have gone with 40 million when essentially it's nothing for now. But all I would say, Dick, don't let them wind you up. They clearly see that you get wound up dead easily. And they just wind you up. So just ignore them. They're not mates, are they? Let's be honest. RCO2 says he think we'd look at getting Tarkowski in the summer on a free. Lampard liked them at Chelsea, and you could see it being more likely, or could you see it being more likely we go for Diallo, who can cover left back and centre back and left foot. Well, he's the player we tried to get on loan on Monday, isn't he? Possibly go back for him, I don't know. And he says also if we could get Conor Gallagher and Armando Brozier at Southampton, who obviously are Chelsea players at the moment, and Loftus-Cheek from Chelsea for the price we sell Dom or Richie, would that be a worthwhile turnover to the squad? Well, Brozier or Broche has done all right for Southampton so far. He's got 5 goals this season. He's on 20, isn't he? Albanian, 6'3" striker. Loftus-Cheek, 26. I'm just not convinced. He's a really good player, but I'm just not convinced by him. Conor Gallagher all day long, every day of the week. We should try and get him. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what they do. And Sean Butler says, "Hi guys, appreciate all the transfer window content. Do you think Lampard brought Paul Clement in partly to add some experience with navigating a relegation battle? He hasn't had the most successful time as a manager, but he did a great job keeping Swansea up in 2017. No, I think he brought him in just because he's really experienced coach and has been at some big clubs. He obviously wanted Anthony Barry. He'll obviously go back for Anthony. Well, not obviously. He may well go back for Anthony Barry. But we'll just have to see. We'll have to see. But I think if you're an experienced coach, he knows Lampard well from obviously his time at Chelsea, and you've been at some huge clubs like Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, like Clement has, and been at Chelsea, PSG as well. I think he might have been at as well. So he's had some great experiences. It's good that he comes in at Everton and uses that.
Right, should we get Dan on?
Yes.
Let's get Dan on.
He's here, he's just on. Yeah, there he is.
Okay.
Dan, can you hear us? Dan.
I've seen this somewhere
Dan.
before.
He's talking.
Dan.
Well, we can't hear him.
So
that's on you.
Dan.
Well, he can obviously hear us.
I can't hear him.
No, I can't hear him. So that's Ned. Ned, can you make sure that you can hear him and he can hear you before you put it on, mate?
Ned,
come on.
Do you know this is not good TV? Ned, do you know Ant and Dec would not accept this? Do you know Richard and Judy would not accept this?
John Kinsella says we cannot lose to Newcastle. We'll take a draw 100% right now. Absolutely correct. Ty Vashenki says Steve Hitchen was terrible for Spurs.
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Hitchen hasn't got the greatest record.
No.
But he wasn't actually director of football at Tottenham. He was technical director and, hang on, I've got it here, director of something else. Bear with. Head of recruitment, and was given the title of director of technical performance. And Spurs Web on Twitter had done a piece on him, Steve Hitchen. And I'll just tell you what they put. This was their thing. Why Steve Hitchen is the biggest problem at Spurs.
Okay.
And one of the first responses to it from a Tottenham fan was genuinely not sure how he's even got above Sunday League. 80% of fans can identify the players better than him. So he doesn't sound like he's got the greatest kudos in the game, does he? So let's see if Everton... I mean, Dan Ashworth is exactly who Everton should
the
be.
fella we need to go for. But then I imagine if they're getting rid of this fella, they'll probably be going for someone like a Dan Ashworth, maybe. I don't know.
Well, they've got Patrici, haven't they?
Oh, Patrici.
They've got Patrici, who's just come in and got Kuleveski and got Bentancur.
Okay.
Who's from Juve. So Steve Hitchen was obviously pushed sideways in that.
Right, let's get Astro on, because I don't know what happened with Dan. Paul from Ned, that. 27 grand, that's what it gets you.
Yeah, Ned letting people off. Or letting people down, even.
Yeah. Have we got Astro?
Yeah, he's here.
Is he there? Hey, well, yeah, well. We can hear.
I can hear me, so I don't know
turn
what.
Astro, please turn your radio down. I've always wanted to say that. Go on, mate. Go on, Astro. What have you got to say? Lots.
Well, listen, like what a wild transfer window, right? To close out the way it did. I mean, got a manager unveiled, got new signings unveiled. I mean, I don't know, put a little spring back in my step. I don't know about y'all.
Yeah, absolutely got a spring in my step this week. I've just been saying, Astro, we done the daily live exit today, me and Ned on Patreon before, and I said I feel energised. I'm just getting over COVID, so that's good. And from that, just the fact that we've got, we sorted the manager situation out now. Lampard's come in full of enthusiasm, energy. Dunk stayed, so that's a positive for me, I think. And obviously, unveiling Van der Beek and unveiling Dele Alli. Feels as though the club is in a slightly different place now. There's still problems, we know that, but the club, it feels like to me, there's a bit of energy back in it. Seeing that we talked about this yesterday, just seeing the coaching staff lined up, seeing them actually look like men who are in shape, in charge of athletes.
Sorry,
and getting excited about the game Saturday. I just feel energised right now. It might change because Everton genuinely try to ruin it.
Let me just break in on this, Astro, for just 1 sec. I've got a quick announcement for Baz. And this has just been revealed. A limited number of extra tickets will be available for Everton supporters in the Upper Bullens for Frank Lampard's first game on Saturday. Everton officials have managed to find solution after visitors are unable to take up full allocation.
That is you winding me up again. Is it real?
Paddy Boylan says it. Paddy Boylan doesn't do humour.
I hate our club. See the way you've just unenergised me right there. I'm over it. Whoever gets my seat, enjoy it. But the next, if we get through and we get another team at home, a home draw, mate, I will be speaking to the club and saying, you're not giving them the full allocation. Give them the Park End.
Okay.
Move the Park End.
Yeah, just move the
Park End. Put them somewhere else.
So what are these rumours? What are these rumours I'm hearing about you coming over to the UK for the Everton Brentford game in May?
You're talking about the breaking content. You're talking about the breaking news. You're talking about the Toffee TV Patreon exclusive news. Is that what you're talking about?
Apparently, that's what I'm talking about. I didn't know it was Toffee TV Patreon exclusive news, but it is now. That's what you get on Patreon.
Across the orange ticker bar.
Is this happening? Are you doing this?
I can tell you that things are in motion. Okay. The game is afoot.
Oh, okay.
Listen, you got to understand, it's not easy for me to, with everything that I've got going, you know what I mean? Between all the styling, between all the profiling, between all the, wheeling and dealing, it's hard to find the time to get over there, even though it's like the greatest thing in the world to do. But here's what I'm telling you. I'm thinking I'm thinking that middle of May, beware the odds of May, baby, because Astro is going to be in town because that's the way it's looking right now.
So Astro's going to be in the Toffee TV studio in May. That's what you're saying.
That's I don't presume to be allowed into such hallowed ground. But yes, if the invitation is there, I am always going to be there.
The invitation is there.
I mean, if I'll be honest, Astro, if you make it over here, we're going to have to put a night on.
Yeah.
Never mind just a show. We're going to have to put a night on.
What we could try and do is make the end of season patron night at Murphy's Gym Bar.
And don't forget, the tickets for the second Toffee TV patron night are available now, exclusively for patrons. It's on 3 weeks on Friday. Listen, Astro ain't going to be at that one, but if you get to that one, then you're sort of guaranteeing your ticket. You're getting a priority voucher on the way in. For the
Is this like the King's?
Yeah. This is you're gonna get your priority voucher for the King. If you there's only 2 ways you're getting in to see Astro, and it's if you've got your King's Dock priority voucher from your season ticket in 1999, and you're a patron. One of those two things. When Astro gets over.
Anyway, let's get back. Astro, Dele Alli.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Dele Alli? Because obviously he's a young man that's lost his way a little bit. He's ended up at Everton in a mad deal. A mad deal. So go on. What are your thoughts?
One. I honestly, I love how the deal is structured. You know what I mean? It's very low risk for the club, and in an era where we've seen consistently bad business decisions, I think it's an outstanding, refreshing change to the situation. Listen, there's another Ali that I like to think about where people had all gone against him and had all picked his opponent. I think it was the Rumble in the Jungle with George Foreman. And if I'm not mistaken, did Ali not show them how great he was?
Ali, Boombaye.
He certainly did.
I think Ali, Boombaye. That's what I want to hear.
Baz is looking at me like I'm a madman here.
No, I'm not.
But
I'm just trying to listen to
some
our
of us
guest.
know our history, don't we, Astro? Some of us know our history.
I know my history. I'm trying to listen to our guest. No, you know what, mate? You're right. It's there to be. I've said a couple of times already today. Even if we can get him even close to what he was at Spurs when he was flying, this will be an incredible deal for the football club, and would transform our team really if we could get that. We've had no one really like him since Tim Cahill, and what I mean by that is someone from midfield who regularly gets guests. I'm reading that. Regularly gets goals from midfield. So if we could get him back up to speed, it'd be a brilliant signing for Everton. As Ned, I feel like has cut Astro off.
Ned, have you cut Astro off?
Well, we can't hear him, so whatever you're doing.
Why have you ruined it for everybody?
You've ruined it for everybody listening.
You've ruined it for everybody,
well done.
Ned. What?
He's still there, just not talking.
He is. He's not. When if he,
He's just staring at the screen.
Astro.
I just think he can't hear because he's just staring at the screen.
Okay.
Oh, no, he's left.
Okay. Thanks, Ned. Thanks for doing
Is
that.
he gone, Astro?
Apparently, Ned forced him out.
Cheer, Astro. Nice one, mate.
Sorry,
for the
Astro,
call.
that you couldn't be completed and you couldn't have what you wanted to say fully. Blame Ned.
It's not blame, Ned, is it?
No, well, I mean, you are in charge, mate. You are in charge.
You're in charge. You're in
SG
charge.
says give Ali number 20. He's not having number 20, sadly. Stephen Richardson says get Astro on the show. Well, he's literally just been on the show.
There, I can hear him breathing.
Can you hear him? Nick? No, we can't, mate. Like, we've moved on. Sorry, Ned. A lot of people aren't happy with you, Ned, but there you go. .com says Bentancur would have been a good sign for us. I've really liked him. I've seen him in the 2018 World Cup. I've seen him before for Uruguay, but seen him in that, and he was really impressive. Watched him at Juve. My only thing with Bentancur is the Premier League going to be too quick for him? He's a lovely, elegant footballer, but can he do it on a Tuesday night? So it'll be interesting to see how quickly he gets up to speed with Spurs. But if he acclimatises to the Premier League, I think he can do really well for Tottenham because he is, and obviously Conte has played, seen his teams play against him when he's been in Italy, and he's a lovely footballer. So Tottenham could have a really good player on their hands. Same with Kulusevski. If they get him, up to speed as well. He's an interesting one as well. He's a good player. Emmy1G says if the transfer fee raised to 40 million because Ali does brilliant, would you be happy if he left for free after a 2.5-year contract? Well, if he's doing really well, I imagine Everton will give him a new contract in about a year, like a 4-year deal or something, or a three-year. Won't he?
Time down.
And if he's enjoying playing for Everton, why is he going to want to move again?
Is Nick still there?
He's still there.
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, he's back. Nick's back. Where did you go?
I'm back. I don't know. Everything just dropped out.
Okay, we just blame Ned. We have a rule here. It's if you can't explain it, you just blame Ned.
Astro is back.
Oh,
that's the rule.
I'm back.
So go on, continue what you were saying.
Well, no, I think that if
know what it was like then. Sorry, Astro. Just sorry. It was like Captain America. It was suddenly I could hear the Falcon. Basically, that's what it was.
Right.
That's what it was like. It was like on your left. That's what it was like. Go on, go on, mate. Go on.
That's right. No, I was just gonna say I really think we miss a trick if the whole Glotty Street's not just booming, boom-a-yay, Ali every time the guy hits the pitch. You know what I mean? I think we're just missing a trick if we don't do that. But no, listen, I spoke to my father-in-law, who's a Manchester United supporter, and he kind of feels like Van de Beek wasn't really given the opportunity. Obviously, we know that. He wasn't given the opportunity that he needed to establish himself in their side, and there really was no room for him. So I love a narrative of a talented individual who has an axe to grind and a point to prove, and they get to wear an Everton shirt. And I'm going to say this. I think that narrative also applies to Frank Lampard. There are a lot of people who are saying that he doesn't belong. There are a lot of people that are saying that he's lucky and he doesn't belong here. I want him to take up the mantle of Ali and say, I'm going to show you how great I am. And he's going to do it in an Everton top, in an Everton track top on the touch line. I think that there is a great opportunity for a lot of people to show how great they are. And for them to be able to do that in an Everton Football Club top is a beautiful thing. And I'm wicked excited by it.
There you go.
What a lovely way to...
High energy.
Yeah, it is high energy. Wouldn't expect anything less from you.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a toffee.
Sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. Woo! Sorry, it had to happen. You knew
different
it was
class. I knew it was coming.
Some slight sour news for you today, Nick. Ric Flair split up with his 5th wife, so,
Let me tell you something. The Nature Boy is a flawed man. I may have hijacked some of his phrases and some of his sayings, but I have not hijacked any of his bad habits.
No, don't.
I style and profile appropriately.
Yeah, don't hijack any of his plane antics. No. Certainly, don't be doing the helicopter anytime soon.
No. The only none of that.
Don't be doing that. Walking down the corridor, swinging it around like you just don't care. Because someone will care in these days. You'll get in trouble for that. You'll get in trouble.
There you go.
Nick, go on.
Wrap it up, Nick.
I don't know. I was just going to say, you guys, obviously I didn't really get to interact very much, but I just wanted to take a moment to just thank you for the great coverage on deadline day. You guys did exceptional. And I swear to God, I was laughing so hard at that bit about the R. Kelly stuff. You guys had me absolutely rolling. And there again, I don't understand why anybody wouldn't spend $3, basically the price of a pint for an entire month of Toffee TV enjoyment. I just don't understand. It's a no-brainer. You know what I mean?
Nick, you're the top man.
There
you go.
Who's better to say it than you? You know what I mean? Who's better to say it? Nick, fantastic, mate, to have you on. And we'll speak very soon, mate. See you later.
Yes.
You will. Take care, mate. See you later.
And Boba Fett. Oh my God! But we'll leave it there.
Oh, dude.
Leave it there. Leave it there. No more talking Boba Fett. Oh my God.
See you later, mate. Take care.
Go on. See you, mate.
Bye.
Bye.
Now
have we got Degsy?
Hang on. Let's just have a couple of... Let's just, from one phone call to the other. Where are we? Barry Dara says, all right, fellas, boss show, transfer deadline show was sound. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Stephen Lee says he's feeling really optimistic with things to come. Come on, you Blues. Peter Beryl says, boys, finally signed up to patrons. Better late than never. Peter,
you're never late.
Top man, you're never late.
There's no such thing.
You arrive at the perfect time.
You arrive when
you arrive.
When you arrive.
Very much like Dele Alli. Glenn Watson says, I forgot Tosun was there until I seen the training session video.
What was his hair like?
He had the hat on. So there you go. John Shea, not John O'Shea. of course, former Manchester United and Sunderland
Of course.
defender. Says, are you surprised Duncan stayed with the Sunderland job being available? Go on, you answered that one, mate. I've answered that quite a bit.
Was it? Well, I mean, yeah, but just because there's a job available doesn't mean he's going to take it. I mean, listen, he was favoured, but I don't think he was ever in talks for it. I don't think. I'm sure a few people put 2 and 2 together, but he wanted to. For him, he just not got the Everton job. Would it have been a sensible move to have walked straight into a job? I don't know whether that would have been the sensible thing. Would he have been fully focused on it? I don't know, but it would have been difficult for him because he'd had all his concentration of being on Everton. You know, it's difficult enough to being a manager and being a manager of a club like Sunderland. Does he have an understanding of that league? Is he aware of that league?
I'm sure he's aware of the league.
I know. What's that league?
Yeah, what league are you in?
Is he aware of what goes on in that league? Is he aware of the teams in that league, the standard of that league, what it takes to be the manager? I don't know. I don't know what level.
Do you want to be going into that in January when you want the?
But they're not a bad team and they're not in a bad position.
Third.
I mean, exactly. So they just had a really, really bad day at Bolton,
and they've had other stuff.
And they've had a couple of weeks,
manager,
yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if it's the. See, this is the conundrum he'll be facing. Is that maybe we get to the end of the season and maybe jobs start presenting themselves at a certain level, and maybe he does a little bit of homework about that level, and maybe he starts to think about that better and think about that more clearly, rather than going in now where. What if he goes into Sunderland and he doesn't quite appreciate certain things of what the job requires just because he's a big name? I'm not saying wouldn't be a good manager, but it would all become very, very quickly. He doesn't know the players. He wouldn't be able to put down his style. There's no pre-season, and it's a lot. See, that's a job that requires someone who's got experience. I think. Yeah. I don't think you can go into your first job in management in January. No. I just to me that would be mental.
Not in, like you say, not in a league that you're not working in it at the moment. You've got to get your hands dirty, so to speak. But listen, he may well leave in the summer because he may well decide that if he wants to be Everton's manager, he does have to go out. He might accept that he does have to go out and get experience elsewhere and prove himself, I guess. In terms of being able to manage your team. We talked about Wayne Rooney taking the Everton job, and he's only had a year doing it, and he's at Derby. So
yeah, of course.
If David Moyes, Duncan Ferguson goes to somewhere in the summer and does a decent job for a couple of years, whatever, or the next time the job becomes available, whether that's in a year, 2 years, 5 years, if he's got that experience, then he's got the opportunity to get it, because no one will be saying, well, he hasn't got the experience. And depending on how well he's done, then people might be clamouring for him to be the Everton manager, the next Everton manager or whatever. So maybe that's what he's up to. But right now, I'm happy that he's staying while we're in this predicament, because he knows the players better than anyone. Right, Ned, are we ready for our next call?
Yeah, you can get Duncan now if you want.
Come on, mate, you're the director. You should be doing it. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Give the video a like. There's 900 of you watching, so we much appreciate any of those thumbs up. So thank you very much. Do that now and subscribe if you haven't. But here we go. It's Degsy is on the line.
Hi guys.
Hello,
Degsy.
Degs.
Hello, mate.
What's your point, mate?
All right?
Yeah, not too bad.
Well, first of all, just to ask her if he's still listening, reach for the stars and rise above the rest, lad.
Absolutely.
You'll know what that means. Anyway, thanks for this week, guys. Program has been brilliant.
No worries, mate.
Fantastic. Is it true that Ned's changing courses?
To do what?
Bilateral knitting, is it? Something like
that? No, I don't. I'll be honest with you, Degsy. I'm not sure the course he's on right now is the course that he thinks he's taking, because he doesn't see what he's been learning doesn't seem to be able to transfer to actual sound engineering and video. So
are you sure he's actually going to college, or does he just have a bag?
Do you think he just took the 27 grand and he's just having the time of his life?
Maybe.
Do you think that's what it is?
I think he's bought an old chippy van and he's selling burgers.
Maybe, and you know what? Good on him if he is.
Yeah,
good on him if he
not?
is.
To be fair,
guys aren't paying him.
no. To be fair, he does come in covered in grease. and other stains. So I don't know where they come from.
Yeah.
Go on,
You don't wanna
Degs.
better not talk about the other states.
No, let's
Anyway,
move swiftly on from that.
I heard your comments a little bit earlier, and what you've been talking about is maybe Lamps is on about. You think he's probably going to be playing this sort of looking for more goals. Do you think? I've just got a feeling that he's brought a couple of players in that are confident holding the ball.
Yeah.
And able to get the, do you know what I mean?
No,
it's something that we've been lacking in somebody that's sort of confident on the ball and to build.
What you're saying, Degs, is two players who can pass the ball to another player who happens to be wearing the same coloured kit as him.
Strip.
Yeah. I get you, mate. I get you.
We tend to have a bit of a problem of somebody getting hold of the ball and then letting it go as quickly as possible, and hoping it goes in the right direction.
I mean, that's a major problem.
When you look at Dele Alli at his best, he can hold onto the ball, he can move you forward, and usually he finds his target. And from what I've seen of a young Dutchman, what is he, 95%, 96% passing accuracy, something like that?
Apparently so, yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's just something we needed. If we can get that ball forward to Richarlison and Dom and actually find the target, then they're the guys who will score goals. Because we know they both score goals, won't they? You know what I mean? And hopefully also, if they're holding on to the ball, it gets our defensive side time to get themselves together.
Totally. I mean, Frank Lampard said in the interview he did with Everton, is all about want to control games, want to control the ball, want to get over the ball a bit more. And you're absolutely right. The two players he's come in, certainly Donny van der Beek is someone who likes to be on the ball, likes to move the ball, can play a couple of ways. Dele Alli very comfortable on the ball. Everton have been for too long a team that doesn't want the football at times. Yeah. It all seems to be rushed. They don't look comfortable in possession, which is really weird. And especially when you see other teams that have come out the Championship, who you would say, well, I wouldn't want Everton to have those kind of players, and yet those kind of players are lads who are working hard and are decent on the ball. I look at Leeds United, and Leeds United have still got a lot of players who've done well for them in the Championship, playing in the Premier League. They're comfortable. They don't panic to be on the ball. And yet Everton have spent a lot of money on. We often say it. How are these lads who train every single day, how do they look so uncomfortable doing their own profession, which is having the ball? And you heard Lampard in the training video, and I know it's a lot of fluff, but you hear him enjoy the ball, get on the ball, enjoy having the football. That's what you're there for. It's about wanting that ball. You play for Schalke. It's about wanting the football, isn't it? It's not about being scared of the ball and running away from it.
It's the whole difference in what we would call continental football to English football. On the continent, they love players to actually just get the ball, hold it, look and pass.
Exactly.
Get the ball, hold it, look and pass. And find who you want it to go to. That's why you don't get these 100-mile-an-hour headless chickens running around on the continent, because they're all good footballers.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
Technically, they do what they says on the kit, on the tin, basically.
No, I think you make a really good point, Dex. I think we're talking about adding goals, which is right. I think Dele Alli will. I think Donny van der Beek will try to do that. But I think maybe more importantly and more pertinent, the point is two lads who like to have the football and are not scared to get the foot on the ball, which is probably what Everton have been missing. When you've got managers saying, we can't play with the ball, I think A is rather defeatist from those managers, and we heard it from Carlo Ancelotti and we heard it from Rafa Benitez. So how do we change that then? How do we change it? Do we just go, we can't do that, so let's not try to do it? No, you're part of a coach is to know I will play the way that we have to do.
It is funny, isn't it, that we don't have a tendency to look at things like that. I think our tendency, I think Dex is actually the first person I've ever bring it up in a way, is our tendencies when we bring players like this in is, would they'll score goals? They'll score goals. How do you fit both of them into a team where it's, like Degsy just said there, they're both good players. And it's about, for us, keeping the ball and having better possession and building the play up. And that, like you're saying there, Degs, how often do we talk about Everton just giving the ball away? And actually, our bad passes leading to the opposition goals. Look at go back to the Norwich game. You know, the second goal is Seamus Coleman gives it away high up the pitch, and the next minute we're a 2-0 behind. So. Better footballers is exactly what we need, and that's why the best teams have all the best footballers, and that's because it's the good footballers create the good team, not the other way around.
Great point, Dex. Absolutely brilliant point.
Okay. And just one other point. It's about time that somebody taught the players to keep concentrating for that last 2 minutes before half time.
Yeah.
How many goals do we give away in either after 45 minutes or around 43 minutes?
No, you're right again, and that's professionalism. That's continuing to do what you do for the full.
Yeah.
For the full,
We just, I've got nothing against the fullback or the centre half. It's in Rose Ed with a ball. And there's 43, 44 minutes on the clock.
Turn the opposition. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, instead of trying to play a pass forward when the pass is none, let's just kill the game, waste some time, and just calm it down a bit.
Called being professional, isn't it? Really?
It is, yeah. The new terminology is game management.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
it. I seen it last night in the Scottish League. It was the last minute of the game, and the lad had it in the corner, right, and he was trying to shield it. And the lad just walked in, nipped in, got it, took it off and put it in, and it was a goal. And it's like, all he had to do was kick it. All he had to do was literally kick it into the stand.
Yeah,
and he would have, the time would have reset. They would have got a throw, but the defence would have been set. And you're absolutely right, Degs. But then, Degs, I would counter that by, how about our team concentrating the entire first half? Because we are terrible in first halves. We start games slowly. And we haven't recovered this season by conceding a lot of times in the first half. So we have to have more energy in first halves of games completely, mate. Not just the last 2 minutes, but that's a really good point. Degs, it's always great to get you on, mate. I love the fact that now you found out how to do it. You're on every week,
mate. Mainstay. That's what we like.
That's what we like.
Degs.
Nice one, Degs.
Friend of the show.
See you later, mate.
Take care,
guys.
mate.
Have a good day.
Gareth Hughes makes a great point. If Michalenko can't improve with the two best left-backs in Premier League history coaching him, then he never will. Great opportunity for a young player. Bet and Kunku can't wait to come back as well. And Charlie Hare says, do you think it's a confidence thing with Ned? Like he just needs to get a couple of wins under his belt?
Ned is the most. This is the best thing about Ned, right? And I've seen people go, oh, it's terrible. You wind them up. Ned is the most confident lad you've ever seen in your life. He walks around, right, like he tucks it into his sock. Honestly, he is like, if anyone remembers Double J from the wrestling, he walks in, cutting and strutting. Honestly, you've never seen the likes of it in your life.
The stuff he dishes out to like a Tom and Sam.
We're in the other room, right? We'll be having a chat in the other room, and it might just be me and him, and it might be talking to someone that he's never met. And he struts in, and he'll basically go, who are you? What are you doing here? And do you know that I'm do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Basically, it's unbelievable, and I know that's true because he's been so quiet now about it. Normally we go, that's not true, that's not true, but he knows that that's true, and that's why he's not making any noise.
It is true. So much nonsense.
It is true.
And now he's piped up because we've just said that, and he's like, we've outed him basically.
Victor Lindsay says, blood the youth. I want to see Michalenko, Patterson, Branthwaite, Onyango and Gordon playing off him from now till May. Well, we may do, Victor, but I think the manager will also want to get results as well. But he's certainly someone who's proved in the past that he can bring young players through and improve them, hasn't he? Where are we here? That just flew along. John Shea says Lampard is harshly treated regarding his managerial career. When he walked into both Derby and Chelsea, they lost their best players, Vidra and Hazard. Feel like he went in and done well with his hands tied. It makes me laugh this when people go like Lampard, he like got those jobs. Right? Steven Gerrard got given the Rangers job because he was Liverpool's youth team coach, and then got the Aston Villa job on the back of being Rangers manager. You know, and Wayne Rooney was given the Derby County job because he was a player. It's happened historically with good players.
Guardiola got a decent job.
Exactly. So
Zidane got a decent job.
So it does happen.
Pirlo got a decent first job, didn't he?
Pirlo got a hell of a first job.
No, of course it happens, and listen, no one can say Frank Lampard's second year wasn't great at Chelsea, but don't managers improve? Can't people learn?
Yeah, but you remember, like, they were top early December, right?
Yeah.
And they lost 3 games on the run, and they dropped down to 8th position or 9th position because the league was quite tight. Chelsea fans saying we were fuming when he got sacked.
But it's also the standard, isn't it? It's also what the manager, the owner requires.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying...
And also Thomas Tuchel had become available.
Right, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't have sacked Lampard. I'm just saying people have rewritten a narrative of, like, Chelsea were terrible, and yet he had them top. They just had 3 defeats on the run.
When they played us, when Bill got me in for that game, and we were terrified of what was going to be coming that game. Luckily enough, that night they were quite toothless. We got an early goal and we managed to see it through to the end. And they were a bit toothless. They did lack some up front, which they obviously went out and rectified. In
We beat them twice on the run when he's the manager.
They'd beaten the. They had players they've rectified that because they've got Lukaku in eventually. They had players in who weren't, like, quite up to it, and I think Tuchel changed the way they played and changed the style a little bit, and that's a learning experience for Frank Lampard. I go back to that first year and I think that was a brilliant year. Okay, he had a lot of good players there. Don't get me wrong, but he utilised young players. Now this is a different thing. He's got to come in. He's got to take a team with low confidence and move them on. But what we're asking for in the short term is like 6 wins in the Premier League, aren't we? 6 wins out of 18 we're asking for.
1 and 3.
You know.
Norwich got 2 in 6 days.
Yeah, that's what we're asking for in the short term. And hopefully be able to deliver that and draw better players.
The thing is different though, isn't it? You just hit the nail on the head with Chelsea there. Chelsea is high pressure. They demand, they expect to win. They expect, Abramovich expects
5 points off the top when he got the sack.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He lost 3 games in 3 games on the run, and that was it. He was out. And Chelsea expect to win. He got them to they finished 4th. They got to the FA Cup final. They lost in the final to Arsenal, didn't he? Yeah. And then obviously the next season he done well. He qualified in the Champions League. He got them into the next phase of the Champions League. They were top early December. He got sacked because they lost 3 games. He'd already negotiated them through in the FA Cup. But the pressure is on to win. They'd spent a lot of money. At Everton, the big... If Frank Lampard... If Everton survived this season, right, and he got a couple more players in the summer, and Frank Lampard got Everton into the Europa Conference League the end of next season, say Everton finished 7th, and got into that would be seen as like he's done them. The press is totally different.
And also,
isn't it?
Also the fact that Tuchel...
miles away, that bad.
The fact that Tuchel won the Champions League made it even worse for Lampard, because he went on and won it. And I think that
he said he had loads of people saying, well, it's basically your team.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have it, would he? But that's what makes it worse for him, because people will go, well, that was a great team. Look what it won.
Exactly.
So you were failing. But he's a young manager. He's a young manager that at another club, that wouldn't have happened. That wouldn't have happened. He would have stayed anywhere else. It's just that it's Chelsea. And that's just the way Chelsea are. They have seen an opportunity to get Tuchel, who just left PSG. And they took it, and it's been brilliant for them. But the same thing will happen to Tuchel. If you know,
talk last week that he's got to turn it round.
Exactly.
Because they've fallen away from City and Liverpool.
So it's, I think we are, we where we are now from where he was at Derby is the logical next step. It's just that he's had the Chelsea bit in the middle, and hopefully he's learned from that. He had a year out the game. Things have changed for him. He's had a baby and all that kind of thing. But while he's been had the year off, he's been sorting, getting it back in. He's been assembling his team. So he knew when he came back what his team was going to be.
He wanted, yeah.
He's obviously kept an eye on certain players like Dele Alli, and there's probably been in touch with him saying, if I get a job, then I'll make a move for you because I know exactly how I want you. This is how football's conducted now.
Yeah.
Football is people are people are waiting and ready to make the move and know what they're going to do and are keeping an eye on certain things. Frank Lampard will have been keeping an eye on the Everton situation, I imagine, and looking at what he could do, how he could change the style, who he'd bring in to change the style, and we'll have to wait and see. The proof will be in the pudding. Listen, I'm not getting all excited about it. When we get to May, then I'll get excited about it. If he's done a good job, we're in the Premier League and we're looking for next season, and we're looking upwards and thinking, right, 2 years to get into that next stadium. Let's have a couple of good seasons. Now, that's when I'll start getting because I don't want to get caught in that trap again where we all.
You can't, but you do have to have the optimism. What's the point? Football's not about going, we've got no chance of doing that, no chance of doing that. No, what's the point?
That's not the way I'm thinking.
I'm saying,
I'm thinking is,
I'm just talking overall. I'm saying you've got to have optimism, but you're right. The proof is always in the pudding. I've said it before. People like non-Evertonians say to me, what's your success? You want to be trying to win a trophy in the next 2 years. I'm like, listen, if we have 2 years on the run where we got 7th and got into the Europa League, like the Conference League, that would be huge for us, because it'd be 2 years of relative consistency. We've not put decent back-to-back seasons together for a while, and that's the first thing. You done that thing the other week. The only manager to have 10 games at the start of 2 consecutive seasons so far is Marco Silva. That's since Machiri come in. 10 games, so it's absolutely...
Right, we've got Scott crazy on the line. Scott, are you there? Go on, Scott. What's your point, mate?
No, Scott. Can you bear him?
I can hear breathing. Has he rung the right number?
Scott, are you there?
Scott, this isn't Babe Station.
I'm going to take my jumper off, Scott, in a minute.
Is he there? Can you see him? Yeah. He's not doing a... What was the fella out of... He's not doing a Leslie Grantham, is he? Scott! Hello, Scott?
No, okay.
I can hear him, though, that's the thing.
I can't hear anything.
No, what I mean is I can hear him,
moving around,
having a bath, whatever he's doing. Okay. Ned, what's he doing? Type to him. Scott, talk to me, brother.
Gray Lead says, geez, Spurs fans really don't like that hitching. That is not good.
No.
People saying he set them back years.
Oh, it's never good, is it?
Never, ever good. Dan says, sorry, Dan, who was on before and then it wouldn't work, says, sorry about that, lads. I think my MacBook needs a software update.
That happened to me last week on the live, mate. Don't worry about it.
Just got his tickets for the 25th, though. He's going to be at the patron night. Is right, Dan. We'll see you at the patron night.
Get your tickets available now.
Two-headed boy.
Go on, Scott. We can hear you now. God, you came. Oh my God, you came through like Ali G. Then hear me now. Go on, Scott. Yes,
man, Scott.
He's right. He's right. He's right, mate.
Obviously, what a week of difference makes with Frank coming in, and like you said, I can't believe Dele Alli's coming as well. It's and it's a good deal in terms of the finance, in terms of obviously no money till the end of the season, and then obviously if it goes up to 40 million, it means we're obviously smashing it next season and towards the back end of this season.
Exactly.
Ped, it's a question for you.
Oh, here we go.
I know you've had your little reservations with Frank as far, but if he does like a bit of a clop at the end of each game, goes up to the Gladys Street and gives it large, and we're like, next season we're fighting for the Champions League. You're gonna be right up for it, going off your Barnet.
I'll very be honest, mate. The only time I go off my Barnet is when Ned makes me a coffee. Because honest to God, he puts 3 spoonfuls of coffee in it. Do you want to see it? Honestly, first cup of coffee, right? He made me right. I was like, what's going on with that coffee? And he was like, well, when I make hot chocolate, I have 3 spoonfuls of chocolate. So I thought you put 3 spoonfuls of coffee in. I was literally like the Tasmanian devil. I was bouncing off the walls.
And Ped doesn't need much.
Work the new Tassimo?
We've had to buy a Tassimo just so we can make me proper coffee. But back to Frank Lampard. Listen, I'll let the fella come in and do his job, and I'm not going to get on his back, and I'm not going to let anything else distract me, and I'm not going to let anything wind me up. I'm sure Frank will have been briefed onto making sure that he keeps us Evertonians happy. And listen, if we're winning games of football, then we'll be happy, and I'll be happy. And and that's the main thing, mate. And I'm not gonna let anything else get in the way of that at the moment. I just want everyone to be happy in Everton. I want us to be a fan base where I walk down the street and I see a blue smiling, and I see kids going outside proud to wear their Everton kits. Honest to God, we were talking about this the other day, and what we were saying was like, and this was before Lampard got in. I don't know if Bass was in this conversation or not, because he's been obviously off, but we were saying about, if Everton don't get this right, and Everton did get the R word, I don't even like saying it, but we would lose a generation of Evertonians in this city.
Without a doubt.
And we'd lose a generation, because why, if you were a kid and you were growing up and you didn't have, even if you had a dad who's a mad blue, why would you let them drag you to Goodison to watch Championship football when you've got those other bar stewards on the doorstep whose mates, my nephew goes to match with me, he's been going for years. He was 16 last week, and he's been everywhere as a top blue, and he's just like, and he loves it, don't get me wrong, he's not like, there's no way he's going to turn, but he was like, I'm watching this crap, and my mates are all going the Carabao Cup final. And he's like,
and that's a regular thing.
And that's a regular thing. So you're getting all these kids. You've got kids out there who've been to more Champions League finals who are still teenagers than
it's like
we may ever get to.
I'm 50, so Everton last won a title. I was 16 in '87. And obviously FA Cup, I was like in my mid-20s, so I've not seen anything. But like you say, we would lose a generation, certainly.
Scott,
under 25.
Can I just say, Scott, you sound very youthful for a 50-year-old, mate.
Very youthful. I like it, Scott.
Did you yoga?
I was at the Bayern Munich game in '85, mate.
Yeah. Me too. So I'm just a touch younger than you.
Baz was 32.
It's exactly.
Bayern Munich game.
Yeah. But going back to you said earlier on about the photo shoot of the coaching staff. It looked so professional. Yeah. I mean, all of them in that line, and that Paul Clement. I mean, you do your research on him. He's been here, there, and everywhere. And I know it hasn't worked out as a manager, but he's brought in some quality people.
And obviously, I've said it before. Ashley Cole as a footballer was not someone I particularly liked in terms of his antics. As a footballer, he was fantastic. Of course, he was
fantastic. Yeah,
he
was. Yeah,
I've spoke to a couple of people this week who were working in football, and they said he's so highly rated as a coach.
Yeah.
And then you think, well, Everton looks like we are bringing him in as well. So you're absolutely right. It's probably the first time for a while a backroom staff looks strong in what they're doing.
Looks the business. Yeah.
And obviously you've still got Dunk there. We get the Everton, give him that Everton connection to it as well. So,
like you say, Frank can tap into that, can't he? Because obviously Dunk knows all the players, and he can just lean on him for a bit there. To be fair, so
exactly. Ped just said it right there, Scott, and I'm sure we're around the same age, and you want that. You want to just tap back into that feelings, because obviously we were kids when Everton won the league, so we took it for granted. I don't know about you, but I was thinking, especially when the last time we won the league, we won 2 in 3 years, and we were runners up in the other one. I was thinking, this is easy. God, we win the league every other year, and we're at Wembley Wembley was just a normal thing.
Four cup finals in the 80s,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Wembley was just a normal thing, wasn't it? We were going down every.
And we're just bereft of that now, haven't we? And we have been for
anything.
This is
for 27 years.
And this is what makes you laugh. Well, not make you laugh as such, but when kids say like about Everton Dars and all this, like it does make you so annoyed that these kids, and I'm not having a go at any of them, but sometimes it does make you mad when you think that they don't think certain people's opinions have any value. When we grew up, I'm 43, and I was going to Wembley. I went to Wembley every year. Every year I went to Wembley. Yeah. And like it was just like by the time we got to like the Zenith Data Cup and all that, who could be asked?
We've gone.
And I went to both.
We've been going every year since '84.
Yeah, I went to both.
But it was just Palace spanked us 4-1.
I went to Palace when we got beat 4-1. It was just like normal. Yeah. It was like going to Wembley was like was the away ground I'd been to most by the time I was going into my teens. And now you've got a generation of kids who haven't seen any of that. And as I said, if this is where like I told before about like the Brentford. We were doing a preview before with the Billy the B from Brentford and Billy the B from Brentford. And we were talking about Everton. I was saying to him like, he was like, don't you think it's a bit mad you bought all these players? And I was like, the owner's trying to protect his asset because we're getting a new stadium and we've got to stay in the Premier League. And you said, like, because of all these reasons. It's like he's got a club that he spent a fortune on, building a new ground. And, you know, we're going to lose a generation of Evertonians. Yeah. It must be hard enough. It must be hard enough trying to get kids to go anyway at the moment, but...
Yeah. It's like when Bill said last week, I don't like to slag him off because I know, you know, he's an Evertonian at the end of the day, but he said, we've had some good times. Yeah, a long time ago. And, you know, we've certainly had a couple of semi-finals in the last, 10 years. It's just
that we lost. And they were both terrible.
Exactly, that we lost.
No one can tell me they were good times. Nobody can tell me. Nobody can tell me.
2012 losing to Liverpool.
Exactly.
That's not a good time.
2016.
Chelsea.
2016, United were bang average. And we got beaten injury time.
We should have won that game.
Oh, we should have won that cup, mate.
I don't know. I don't know. I missed the last 25 minutes because with the flare. With me missus, she collapsed.
But we, you know, that was what it is. But we just need something to cling to, don't we? Some optimism. Keep the. I've got an 11-year-old.
Enthusiasm.
That's it.
The enthusiasm now. It just feels. You feel like there's something happening. You know, it just feels like there's something for a change happening now.
So it's perception, though, isn't it? As well, Scott. You look at it and go with. You're there a few weeks ago and it was Rafa Benitez and people couldn't get behind it and everything felt stale and it was just like, what's going on? Brands are gone and there was boardroom. It was a mess. And I'm not saying that's all sorted because it isn't and it needs sorting. But the perception a few weeks later, you've got Frank Lampard's in, players are coming in. There seems to be a freshness, a energy about it. We've done something today. A Wayne Rooney documentary for Premier League Productions, me and Pedder. We were talking about when Moyes coming and he just re-energised the whole club.
It feels a little bit like 2002.
That's it. It's just a bit of energy again. And if the fans jump on the energy like we did in 2002, things can get better because for too long we're just hoping something happens. And listen, there's a long way to go and you're hoping things work out, you know, Dele Alli and stuff like that. But it's good to just have that little bit of enthusiasm because that can take you a long way. That enthusiasm.
No, definitely. Of course it can. Good. It just gives everyone a lift, doesn't it? That's what it does.
Hopefully,
everyone a lift.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian says I was 49 at Wembley in '95 and it's been crap since. Tony Keggins says I was 17 when Kevin Sheedy scored at Aston Villa to, basically put us in great position to win the league in '87. And we've seen nothing since, really. Have an FA Cup since. So we want it for the kids, don't we? We want the kids to see something so you can still believe in the football club because it is getting harder and harder when you don't do anything. But
Scott,
great call,
thanks,
mate. Great call.
Thanks for getting in touch with us.
Okay.
Speak to you soon. See you later. Yeah. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Scott. Take care. Bye,
See you
mate.
soon. Bye.
Have we got someone else? Jake. Let's just get Jake on. Go quick then.
Okay, final one.
Let's keep the love flowing.
Yeah.
Jake. Speak to me, Jake. All right,
hello,
mate.
Jake.
Go on.
Nice to speak to you. I've been a patron for a few years now, so
yeah, top man, Jake.
Paying the bills.
Recognise your name and everything. So top man.
Yeah, first thing I want to say is it's great to have the fan base a lot more positive than it has been in the last year or two. So
absolutely,
it's imperative that we're all pulling in the same direction.
Yeah,
that includes the fans as well, obviously. So
absolutely.
I'm obviously excited at the minute with Lampard and that, but it is. I'm still a bit nervous just purely because the position we're in, the kind of goals we've been conceding, and sometimes the players just look a bit lost. When you get the ball, it's just like, as Ped said, it's like a hot potato at times. There's no players don't show any character. To get the ball, they're just scared. They just want to pass it back or hoof it long.
Do you think, Jake? Sorry to butt in there. Do you think that's part of the message though that the managers have been giving them? Do you know if we've all played footy, haven't we? We've all, you listen to the manager and stuff, but if the manager's telling them that they're not good enough to play a certain kind of football, then do you think that leads to confusion? Because you've heard Lampard already, and I keep saying it, and I know it's fluff and all that, but enjoy the ball, get on the ball. These are lads who kick a football every single day of their life. Virtually.
Yeah,
so
Lampard's he's not soft, is he? He's a smart bloke. Yeah. So I think he'll know. Like he was streetwise as a player. He's not soft. He knows how to win things. He'll get that bit of shitardity we need and the game management side. He's going to drill it into them. He's not a soft touch. So,
no.
And he knows exactly what Benitez would have been like because he's played under him, hasn't he?
Of course,
yeah. I think he'll also control the narrative of the club as well and steer us in the right direction and get the fans on side and keep things positive and just give us time to build, really. So
you almost wish this was June, don't you? You know, when he's come in, just so that it is a full clean slate and it's a case of he can get his thing across. But very much like when Moyes come in, you know, David Moyes come in with 9 games to go. We were, I don't know about you, and I don't know about you, Jake, but at that, I don't know how old you are, so I don't know whether you were a baby or not. But at that time, when Moyes come in, that Middlesbrough game and all that, I thought, we're gone. Yeah. We are gone. We had Fulham at home and Derby away. 2 huge games, and we energised us to win both games on the run, and we just got momentum, didn't we? And that's what Lampard's going to do.
I remember going to Newcastle, we got beat 6-2, and
our
fans clapped our team off. We got beat 6-2.
Dunk scored
against Newcastle, and we clapped them off. Because what we saw was a team who were going for it, and they had belief. And Newcastle were a good side. Then they had loads of places like Lua versus David Weir.
Although Kieran Dyer headed the ball into the floor and it looped up over.
No, but you'd seen a team give effort. Yeah. Wasn't you weren't asked about ultimately, because you could see that it was going in the right direction. I suppose that's what Lampard's going to do.
And then we beat Bolton on the Monday, didn't we? Bank holiday Easter Monday. Dunk got sent off early on and
punching Freddie Bobic.
And we end up with Nick Chadwick scoring the 3rd goal. But it just showed you that we were on our knees at that time and the energy in that. And do you think that's something Lampard can do?
Back, really.
That's what we're here for.
Honestly, I don't.
We're here to fill in the blanks.
I'm only 26, so
oh well, there you go. So you were a baby.
I've been going to games since I was about 11, 12.
Yeah, no, you were a baby.
I never thought going a match on the Moyes, they'd be like the glory days. You know what I mean?
I
thought, when Moyes left, I wasn't gutted. I thought, we can go on to bigger and better things. No, he's left us. He'll go his own way, and we can push on now. But you know,
this is where the music from Curb Your Enthusiasm kicks in now. No, you're right though. And listen, they weren't glory days, and no one should ever say they were glory days. But what they were, and I always think this is where people miss a trick, whether it be Evertonians or fans of other clubs, is under Moyes we had genuinely a togetherness, and for the most part, it wasn't always, but we did for the most part. We were pulling in the same direction, and Moyes held it all together. We know that, and I always say, and people can believe me or not, if the team from 07 to 09 was on a brilliant Everton team, and it's just a shame it never won something, because it was a really strong. I honestly believe, and people can agree, disagree, I think that team was as good, if not better, than the Leicester team that won the league. I really do. I think it was a superb.
Injuries to Jagielka.
Exactly. I think it was a superb side, and it's just really unlucky that they never won in 09, and we never had Arteta.
We had a bit of investment then on the Moyes.
But we never had Arteta.
We would have been sound.
We never had Jagielka. We never even had someone like Victor Arcebi.
Yakubu.
We
lost the Yak.
Exactly. We had loads of our best players missing. And if we had them, then maybe we would have beaten Chelsea. Maybe that team would have got what it deserved, which is a trophy. And sometimes that was the problem. You look back at these, at Moyes' era, and people go, we didn't do nothing, or we didn't know. But you know what? As a starting point of a football club, we were mostly all genuinely happy. When we were getting like regular 5th and 6th, which now is like seen as a big pinnacle for everybody. You're part of the elite now if you get 5th or 6th regularly. And we were doing it when it was dead hard to break into the top 4, like supreme. Then if you finished in 5th or 6th, you weren't. There was no top. The top 6, the Super 6. No, then it was just the top 4. Now it's like the top 6. Now it's the Super 6. Now it's and it's the narratives that get created are amazing. So. That was if we could get that togetherness and everyone pulling in the same direction as that we had on the Moyes, then that would just be an amazing starting point at the very least. And then hopefully, if this fella's got the dough, he says we know he has because he splashed it on all kinds of shite. If he's got the money and continues to put money in and with the ground, then at least we can get back to those days, and it gives us the ground, then gives us a platform to look up. At least. Yeah. I'm not saying...
Just on that, do you think fans need to lower expectations slightly?
No, because
I know we have... Like,
what are your expectations then?
Well, I've had my dad who was a season ticket holder when he was a kid. He's like 60 now, so he's obviously got that. He's seen us win the lot, you know what I mean? So he's instilled that into me, but I've just seen us gradually get worse over the years. So my expectations are as low as they've ever been. I've never been scared of Everton being relegated till this season, ever in my life. I am petrified at the moment. I am petrified.
Do you know what's weird though, right? I was at Wimbledon, I was at 94, I was at 98, and I don't remember, especially in 94, I don't remember me ever feeling the way I've felt about Everton this season, where I'm petrified, because everything now is built up to the point where if you go down and you take that huge wage bill with you, you're in trouble. Whereas in 94, I never had that worry in 94 at all. Number one, I thought we'd win anyway, but number two, I never thought if we go, it will, it could be. I
think what we do have to bear in mind is there's 18 games to go. Half a season.
But I'm talking about the entire structure of the football club.
No, well, we know that, don't we? But people never looked into the entire structure of the football club in those days. You just looked at your team.
There wasn't a magnifying
glass.
There
wasn't social media. There wasn't Sky Sports News. Really, it was your football team, and it was like what you saw on a Saturday.
See facts.
And you looked at it and went, "This is crap," or "This, and we'll be all right." And
it's a bit strange the way it's come full circle. The last players to score the winner against us in the finals, now the manager, isn't it?
Well, that's the way. Well, it's about time he done something for us.
Do you think the first thing he's identified is we've lost our three most creative players from last season, haven't we? James is gone, Dinier's gone, and Voldemort's gone. So, Van der Beek and Dele Alli are essentially placing two of them, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it's someone to have a bit of creativity and just a bit of balls in the midfield.
Yeah. Someone to get on the end.
I don't think we're a good enough side to just sit back and soak it up and then break.
Well, we're not good enough defensively. If we had four great defenders, then you can do that, and a great defensive midfielder. Everton haven't got that. So
you're never going to be fast in transition with two in midfield and one of them's friggin' Allen or Gomez.
Exactly. So you've got to, maybe Benitez's way of playing was flawed.
Yeah.
So you've got to.
He was stubborn, wasn't he, to rectify his mistakes?
So you've got to go on the offensive then, haven't you? Enough teams go on the offensive who aren't as good as Everton, I don't say, and finish comfortable. And that's probably what Lampard's had a look and gone. And I know, listen, there's people in the comments, Dele Alli from other clubs, he's this, he's that, he's the other. If Dele Alli was still playing at his level, he wouldn't be at Everton. He certainly wouldn't have come on a free transfer.
It can go stale for some players, though, can't it? Sometimes they just need a change of pitch. And
Moyes was one thing Moyes was great at doing. Getting people people have gone, no, they're finished, or they're not good, or they're not doing anything. And he turned it around for a lot of them, and hopefully that's what'll happen with Lampard.
Hopefully.
So
there you go.
We'll see.
Nice one for getting in touch, mate.
Nice one, Jake. Cheers, mate. Take care, ta-ra, mate. Another good call.
Right, good call. So, go on, finish the comments off, and let's get out of here.
Cam, who's just had his tattoo and
you sent me a picture of his tattoo. Yeah, it's incredible.
It is incredible. Says spot on, fella. Time to get behind the manager and the side. Where are we? About Michalenko. Bob Latchford, Blue Nose Dublin says, Bob Latchford hat-trick, my first game, once a blue, always a blue. Positive vibes, defo, back points on the board required, needed to keep the positives going for the remainder of the season. Absolutely. Kevin Kraft said, clubs sold their souls to Sky. They did. They definitely did. Jack Hopkins says, hello, Toffee TV. Hello, Jack Hopkins.
Hello.
Don King says, what formation do you think we're going to play, lads? One thing we know is Ali and Van der Beek both start 100%. Probably there'll be a mix of either 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, I imagine. But people have got to step up and work hard and force their way into the starting lineup. And if you're out of it, battle to get back in. Because one thing the manager did as a player was work his bollocks off to get better. Liam Heller says the coaching staff look like a proper team, all pulling in the same direction. That was, it's one thing I looked at and thought myself, Liam, to be honest. Make sure you hit that like button. We appreciate it. 1,000 of you watching. And subscribe if you haven't. Come over to Patreon, like lots of people are doing. We do two live shows. Well, we do a live show every single day. But we do 2 live shows most days as well as lots of other exclusives. And you get discounts in the shop. And there's a forum there as well. So come and try it out.
And there are nights.
And we've got, the tickets for the Patreon night are up as well. So there you go. Thanks very much for joining us today. We'll be back obviously tomorrow with the Daily Live Extra on Patreon. Take it easy. See you later.